Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at the global entertainment industry. It's
Ooh,
always
oh,
changing, right? Yeah,
always.
so much is going on, and we've got a whole stack of articles here.
Wow.
So we'll be talking about things like awards buzz, of course,
Love that.
and the streaming wars are still heating up,
Still going.
and Hollywood is like packing its bags and heading out.
Really?
Yeah, and AI is even like sneaking into production now.
Oh, wow. It's a lot to unpack today.
It really is.
Well, from my perspective, this is such an interesting time to be, watching this industry. It's
Yeah.
really like a melting pot of global trends and then also these individual stories. And like you said, technology is like totally shaking things up.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's start with some awards buzz, shall we?
Yeah.
The London Film Critics Circle Awards just wrapped up, and The Brutalist took home the biggest prize film of the year.
Amazing.
I'm always looking for new movies to add to my watch list, and this one stars Adrian Brody and Felicity Jones.
Oh, wow.
So if you're into like those kind of more art house, thought-provoking films,
Yeah.
this one could be for you.
It seems like, the Brutalist winning is part of a bigger trend. Like there's a growing appreciation for these movies that are tackling complex themes and
Yeah.
kind of pushing the boundaries of creativity a bit.
I agree with that for sure. And speaking of pushing boundaries, Kieran Culkin just won Best Supporting Actor for A Real Pain.
Oh, cool.
It's so great to see like these newer actors getting recognition
Yeah.
right alongside like the legends like Daniel Craig,
Oh, yeah.
who received the Delhi's Powell Award for excellence in film.
Wow.
It really shows that like there's room for everyone,
Uh-huh.
from those rising stars to the veterans who've been around forever.
And that Dilly's Powell Award, that's a pretty prestigious one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's from the London Film Critics Circle, and it's named after one of Britain's most influential film critics.
Wow.
So that's a huge honor for Daniel Craig, and
Yeah.
it really speaks to his impact on cinema.
Totally.
Okay.
Are you ready to dive into the streaming wars?
Oh, always.
All right, buckle up, because Netflix is still the king.
Yeah.
They've got over 300 million subscribers.
Wild.
I know, it's basically like the new cable TV, right?
Yeah.
Like they got all the big movies and shows, live sports, reality TV, you name it.
Yeah.
But they just raised their prices again.
Oh, no.
So they're basically betting that people will stick around because they have to see the latest season of Squid Game or whatever that next big hit is.
Right.
Do you think it'll work?
I don't know. It could be a real turning point, I think.
Yeah.
Like Netflix is banking on that high-end content to justify the cost.
Right?
But there's so many other streaming services out there.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if people start cutting the cord or at least, thinking twice about what they're paying for.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So while Netflix might be ruling the streaming world, things aren't looking so great back in Hollywood. We're seeing a ton of productions moving to cheaper locations. Yeah, places like Toronto and the UK, even Australia.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how this will affect the stories we see on screen, right?
Right.
Will we be seeing more movies set in Toronto or like out in the Australian outback?
Well, it's definitely a complex issue.
Yeah.
There are a lot of factors at play, like tax incentives are a big draw, of course.
Sure.
But it goes beyond just saving money, though. Different locations offer unique resources, different talent pools, even just the landscapes can be so different.
Right.
And that can influence the creative direction of a film, you
So-
know?
Right.
Like, just imagine the difference visually between a film shot in the Australian outback versus one set in, like, downtown Toronto.
Yeah, total opposite vibes.
Exactly.
And it's not just Hollywood feeling the pressure either.
Oh, really?
Apparently, the lack of tax credits for game shows is pushing a lot of productions out of Canada,
Wow.
specifically Ontario and British Columbia,
Interesting.
going to places like Ireland and even Georgia instead.
That's a great example of how government policies can directly impact the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Those tax incentives can make a huge difference.
Totally. It's a missed opportunity for those Canadian provinces, especially when you look at what Australia's doing.
Yeah.
They're killing it right now. I mean, Bluey, the animated kids show, is basically taking over the world.
It's everywhere.
Right. And Bondi Rescue, that reality show about the lifeguards,
Oh, yeah.
is a hit in like over 170 countries.
Wow.
It seems like they've tapped into something that just resonates globally.
They really have. Bluey isn't just like cute and catchy, It's
Yeah.
got those universal themes of family and childhood that just connect with everyone.
Right.
And Bondi Rescue, well, I think we all kind of have that fascination with real life heroism.
Yeah,
And it's a peek into a different culture too, It's like a vacation from your couch.
exactly. And speaking of global hits, Have you heard about the Arabic film The Sandcastle?
No.
It's been breaking records on Netflix. Yeah, it's in the top 10 for non-English films worldwide. But here's the thing.
Okay.
It hasn't done that well in the Middle East and North Africa, where it's actually from.
So interesting.
It's a good reminder that even within a region, tastes can be so different.
Absolutely.
What works in one place might not translate somewhere else, even if it seems culturally similar.
Yeah. Global trends are fascinating, but sometimes those local preferences tell a different story.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about some individual stories that are making waves.
Okay.
Rose Ayling-Ellis, who you might recognize from EastEnders, is breaking down barriers as a deaf actress.
I love her.
She's going to be in Doctor Who and is also starring in a new ITV drama called Code of Silence.
Wow.
It's so inspiring to see her success and the progress being made in terms of inclusivity and casting.
Absolutely. It's a testament to her talent and determination.
For sure.
And it signals a positive shift, toward more authentic representation.
I agree. Another story that caught my eye is about the director, Sing Jae Lee. His film, The Accidental Getaway Driver, is finally hitting theaters.
Oh, wow.
After premiering at Sundance a couple years ago and winning all these awards.
Cool.
It's being compared to Collateral, which, if you haven't seen it, is fantastic.
I love that movie.
So good. So I'm adding this one to my list for sure.
That's awesome. It just shows you how independent films can gain recognition and eventually find a wider audience.
All right, before we move on, let's quickly touch on some behind-the-scenes stuff.
Okay.
Tanya Denning-Orman was just appointed Director of First Nations at SBS. That's Australia's multicultural and multilingual broadcaster.
That's a significant appointment. SBS has always been a champion of diverse voices.
Yeah.
And this just underlines their commitment to representing all kinds of perspectives and cultures.
Totally. Meanwhile, TNT and TBS, two major cable networks in the U.S., they're changing things up.
Okay.
They're moving away from scripted shows and focusing more on unscripted content and sports-adjacent programming. It's an interesting strategy with all the competition from streaming.
It makes sense, though, right? They have to adapt and evolve. They're trying to tap into those changing viewing habits.
For sure. Okay, are you ready for this? We're going to dive into some of the new projects in development.
Oh, I'm ready. Let's hear it.
All right, so first up, we've got Terry Gilliam.
Oh, wow.
The director behind Brazil and 12 Monkeys.
Oh, I love those movies.
It's so good, right?
Yeah, visually stunning.
He's working on a biblical comedy called Carnival at the End of Days.
A biblical comedy.
Yeah.
Because Gilliam's work is always so visually inventive and thought-provoking, Yeah. So I can't wait to see what he does with a biblical story, especially a comedic one.
I know, right? It's going to be interesting. And if you're into Nordic noir or Scandinavian storytelling, you're in luck.
Oh.
Netflix is expanding its Nordic slate with over 20 new productions.
Wow.
Across all kinds of genres.
Cool.
From crime dramas to romantic comedies. They're really embracing the talent there.
Yeah.
And bringing those stories to a wider audience.
It's all part of that bigger strategy, to cater to a global audience who are hungry for these diverse stories.
Totally. Yeah. And for something a little lighter, we've got Zac Efron and Will Ferrell teaming up.
Love them, right?
What are they up to for a new Amazon MGM comedy?
Awesome.
It's about a young convict who takes a reality TV courtroom hostage.
What?
And blames the judge, played by Ferrell, for ruining his life.
Oh my gosh, that sounds hilarious.
I know, right? Just the premise alone.
They're both such comedic powerhouses.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll be a hit.
Yeah. But the project that's really piqued my interest is a podcast called Madam Ram.
Okay.
It's being produced by and stars Toni Collette.
Oh, wow.
And it tells the story of Georgia Frontier.
Who's that?
She was the first woman to own an NFL team, the LA Rams.
Wow. I had no idea.
It's such an incredible story about ambition, breaking barriers, and navigating a male-dominated world.
Yeah, I could see why you're interested in that one. Georgia Frontier sounds like a fascinating and complex person.
Totally.
And a podcast is a great way to really dive into her story.
For sure.
And with Toni Collette involved, it's bound to be amazing.
And who knows, maybe it'll even be adapted into a movie or TV show.
Oh, that would be cool.
I'd watch it.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's talk about some deals and acquisitions that are shaking things up in film.
Right.
A24, the studio behind everything, everywhere, all at once.
Oh, yeah.
Just paid $8 million for Sorry Baby after it premiered at Sundance.
Wow.
It's a competitive market for independent films, so this acquisition definitely means something.
Yeah, A24 has a knack for picking films that resonate with both critics and audiences.
Yeah.
They often become those cultural touchstones, you know?
They do.
So it'll be interesting to see how Sorry Baby does.
Yeah, and for all you horror fans out there, Sony Pictures just snagged the international rights to Bring Her Back.
Oh, okay.
It's the new film from the directors of Talk to Me, which has been getting a lot of buzz.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
International horror is having a moment right now.
It is.
And studios are definitely taking notice.
Well, horror just has this incredible ability to tap into universal fears.
Yeah.
It transcends those cultural barriers, and that's why we're seeing so much success with international horror lately.
It's all about those primal fears, right?
Exactly.
The ones that get under your skin no matter where you're from.
That's it.
I'm curious, have you seen any of these films yet?
No.
Which ones are on your radar?
Well, actually, it's funny you should mention that because one of the big challenges in the industry right now is just the sheer volume of content.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great time to be a viewer.
For sure.
But it's also incredibly difficult to sift through everything and find those gems.
I totally get that. I feel like I'm constantly adding things to my watch list.
Right.
But never actually making a dent in it.
There's just so much.
There's just so much out there. Do you think this overload of content will change how we consume entertainment in the long run?
I think it already is.
Okay.
We're seeing the rise of these curated streaming services, niche platforms catering to specific interests and like recommendation algorithms are trying to predict what you'll like.
Oh, yeah.
Even the role of the critic is changing. Social media plays such a big part in what gets noticed now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about Hollywood productions moving to other locations, and you mentioned that it could influence the stories we see.
Right.
Do you think this shift could lead to more diverse storytelling?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you have filmmakers from different backgrounds and cultures collaborating, it can lead to such fresh and innovative storytelling.
For sure.
We might see stories that challenge those traditional Hollywood narratives and offer a more nuanced and authentic representation of the world.
That's something I'm really excited about.
Me too.
Okay, let's talk about AI again.
Okay.
We touched on it earlier, but I think it's worth diving a little deeper.
Yeah.
It's one thing for AI to help with production tasks, but now it's getting into the creative process. We're seeing it used to generate scripts, compose music, even create virtual worlds for movies and video games.
Really?
It's mind-blowing and a little unnerving at the same time.
It really raises the question of what it means to be creative in this age of AI.
Right.
Are we on the verge of a creative revolution where machines are making art that rivals human creation?
Yeah.
Or is AI simply a tool that enhances human creativity?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
What happens to that human element? You know, the spark of inspiration, the raw emotion.
Right.
Can a machine really replicate that?
That's a debate that's just beginning.
Yeah.
And there are no easy answers.
Some people embrace AI as this new frontier of creativity.
Yeah.
While others are worried it could devalue human artistic expression.
Right. It's definitely something we'll have to keep an eye on.
Speaking of changing landscapes, let's talk about the rise of podcasts.
Okay.
It seems like everyone has one these days.
It does.
From celebrities to everyday people sharing their passions.
They've exploded in popularity, and for good reason.
Why do you think that is?
Well, they're accessible and engaging.
Yeah.
And they have this level of intimacy you don't really get from other mediums.
I agree. I love the diversity of content out there.
Me too.
You can literally find a podcast on any topic.
It's a great way to learn something new.
Yeah.
Hear different perspectives or just be entertained.
And it's given a voice to so many people who might not have had a platform before.
Exactly. The barrier to entry is so low now.
Right.
Which has really democratized content creation.
I love that.
Yeah.
But with all this talk about innovation and exciting new developments, we can't forget about the challenges.
Right.
Piracy and illegal streaming are still major problems.
Absolutely.
Right.
Piracy continues to be a huge issue for content creators and distributors.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing battle to protect their work and make sure they're being compensated fairly.
And it's understandable that creators want to be paid for their work.
Of course.
Especially when so much time, effort, and passion goes into making these things. But in a world where content is so easily accessible online, it feels like this issue isn't going away anytime soon.
It's a complex problem with no simple solutions.
Yeah.
But the industry is fighting back, exploring new technologies and distribution models to combat piracy and make sure that content creation has a sustainable future.
And it's not just piracy they're dealing with.
Right.
It seems like the industry is constantly changing.
Always.
Having to adapt to new technologies and changing consumer habits.
You're right. From streaming platforms and virtual reality to the metaverse and immersive gaming, the way we consume entertainment is constantly evolving.
It's like trying to hit a moving target.
Exactly.
It must be so challenging to keep up with all the latest trends.
It is.
And figure out how to engage audiences in new ways.
It takes a willingness to experiment, take risks, and constantly innovate.
For sure.
But at its core, the entertainment industry is about storytelling.
Right.
And the power of a good story, regardless of the medium, will always be there.
I agree with that. Whether it's a film that transports us to another world, a TV show that makes us laugh or cry, a podcast that sparks our curiosity, or a song that moves our soul, stories have the ability to connect us on a human level.
Yeah, that's what makes this industry so special.
Yeah.
It has the power to transcend borders, cultures, and even time itself.
It's amazing to think about how much the entertainment industry has changed. Even in the last few years.
I know.
We've gone from worrying about DVRs to navigate a whole universe of streaming platforms, AI-generated content, and even the metaverse.
It's a lot to keep up with.
It is a lot.
It is a lot to keep up with.
And amidst all these big changes, it's easy to forget about the individual stories.
Yeah.
The people who are shaping the future of entertainment.
Right.
With their creativity and vision.
It's all about the people.
It is. Earlier, we were talking about Rose Ayling-Ellis.
Oh, yeah.
The deaf actress who's breaking down barriers in shows like Doctor Who and Code of Silence.
Such a talented actress.
She is. Her success really shows that representation matters.
It really does, both on screen and behind the scenes.
For sure. It's not just about ticking boxes or meeting quotas.
Right.
It's about authenticity.
Making sure the stories we tell reflect the world we live in.
Exactly. And giving a platform to voices that have been overlooked.
When we have more perspectives shaping the narratives, we all benefit.
It makes the stories richer and challenges us to see the world in new ways.
That's what it's all about.
I agree. We also talked about Sing-Jae Lee.
Oh, yeah, the director.
Whose film, The Accidental Getaway Driver, is finally hitting theaters after years of hard work.
Wow, good for him.
I know. His story shows the power of perseverance.
Yeah.
And the importance of platforms like Sundance that give independent filmmakers a chance.
Film festivals are so crucial for discovering and nurturing new talent.
It's a reminder that even in a huge industry dominated by blockbusters, there's still room for those smaller voices.
For sure. Now, we can't talk about the future of entertainment without addressing technology. It's changing everything.
It really is. It's exciting and overwhelming at the same time.
It feels like we're on the edge of something brand new.
We are. We've got VR, AR, AI, the metaverse.
It's mind-boggling.
These technologies are changing how we experience entertainment.
They're blurring the lines between reality and fantasy.
Right.
Think about those immersive gaming experiences where you can step right into the game world, or virtual concerts where you can interact with the artists.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But it also raises some big questions.
It does.
What happens when we can create these hyper-realistic virtual worlds?
Right, like what are the boundaries then?
Yeah, and how do we make sure those spaces are inclusive and safe for everyone?
These are important ethical and societal questions that we need to consider as this technology evolves.
It's a lot to think about, but I'm optimistic.
Me too.
I think the entertainment industry has always been about pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
And finding new ways to tell stories, connect with people, and make us feel something.
Absolutely. And as viewers, we have a role to play.
Right. The choices we make, the content we support, the technologies we embrace, it all shapes the direction of the industry.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's remember that entertainment is more than just passive consumption.
It's about being engaged, thinking critically, and supporting the stories that resonate with us.
Exactly. Let's be mindful consumers. Champion diversity. Support independent artists. And have those important conversations about the future of entertainment.
Because ultimately, it's all about the power of stories to connect us, inspire us, and make us feel alive.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the ever-changing world of entertainment.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the conversation going. It's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, it really is. And amidst all these big changes, it's easy to forget about like the individual stories, right?
Oh, totally.
The people who are actually shaping the future of entertainment with, their creativity.
Right. It's all about the people.
We were just talking about Rose Ayling-Ellis,
Oh, yeah.
the deaf actress who's breaking down barriers.
Amazing.
In shows like Doctor Who and Code of Silence.
She's so talented.
She is so talented. Her success is a powerful reminder that representation matters.
It really does.
Both on screen and behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about, checking boxes or meeting quotas or whatever.
Right.
It's about authenticity.
Yeah.
Making sure the stories that we're telling actually reflect the world that we live in.
And giving a platform to voices that have been overlooked for so long.
Exactly. When we have a wider range of perspectives, shaping the narratives, it makes the stories richer.
And it challenges us to see the world in new ways.
We also talked about Sing J. Lee.
The director.
Right. His film, The Accidental Getaway Driver, is finally getting a theatrical release after years of hard work.
Wow. That's perseverance right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
His story is a testament to that power of perseverance and also the importance of platforms like Sundance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That give those independent filmmakers a chance to shine.
Film festivals are so important for discovering and nurturing new talent.
Even in an industry, that's dominated by these big studios and blockbuster franchises.
Yeah.
There's still room for those smaller independent voices.
There is. We can't talk about a future of entertainment without mentioning technology, though, right?
You can't. It's true.
It's transforming everything.
It really is. It's exciting and a little overwhelming all at the same time.
It feels like we're on the cusp of something brand new.
Virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, the metaverse.
It's almost too much to process sometimes.
It really is. These technologies are not just changing how we experience entertainment.
Right.
They're changing the lines between reality and fantasy.
Totally think about immersive gaming, where you can actually step into the game world.
Yeah.
Or virtual concerts where you can interact with the artists and other fans.
Oh, that's so cool. But it does raise some big questions, doesn't it?
It really does.
Like, what happens when we can create these hyper-realistic virtual worlds?
Right. Like, what are the boundaries then?
Exactly. And how do we make sure that those spaces are safe and inclusive for everybody?
It's uncharted territory.
It is.
We need to be having these conversations now.
We do, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot to consider, but I'm optimistic about it all.
Yeah, me too.
I think the entertainment industry has always been about pushing boundaries.
Totally.
Finding new ways to tell stories, connect with people, and make us feel something.
And as viewers, we have a responsibility to.
We do. Our choices matter.
The content we support, the technologies we embrace, it all shapes the direction of the industry.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's remember that entertainment is more than just passive consumption.
Right. It's about being engaged.
Yeah.
Thinking critically and supporting the stories that resonate with us.
Exactly. Let's champion diversity, support independent artists.
And have those important conversations about the future of entertainment.
Yeah. Because in the end,
it's all about the power of stories. To connect us, inspire us, and make us feel alive.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Into this ever-evolving world of entertainment. Until next time. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the conversation going.